the establishment of JGU and whose importance nobody can undermine within the university, and a very exceptional person in the area of human rights, Dr. Shri Danish, CFO, CHRS, and all the distinguished participants. It's my privilege, pride to actually welcome you all formally and also to be a person behind the designing of this program. Thanks to Dr. Seema and also Musa Mahmoodi, whom I had a chance to grow as a student from my student days. And I think today is not just a day for just doing another training program, but it's a landmark initiative for us to deepen our own sense of belief that we as an university believe we are a public university, we are a private university dedicated to public service. So I think we hope we will stand for this cause every year by year more stronger with the countries whom we believe we have to deepen our ties. Indo-Afghan ties are very, very special to us historically. And I think OP Jindal, established in the year 2009, has always been committed to this particular thing, and we've always hosted intergovernmental officers, World Bank officers from Afghanistan, Afghan Independence Human Rights Commission, a lot of government servants. And I personally closely associated working with the Minister of Finance, Government of Afghanistan, Mr. Nazir Kabri, and ADB Afghanistan. So my personal thing is also a bit emotional towards Afghanistan, Indo-Afghan ties. And recently I was on a session with Sakina Yaqubi doing things, who also got the biggest award of the year from the Japanese government. So I take deep privilege in also hosting you, not just as a contingent, but also to learn and to contribute more in the area of human rights along with us, and also to learn and unlearn from you. And I hope the entire cluster that we've managed, I think most of it we've always been on board. I think all of this will provide some kind of a unique opportunity in a sense of getting the first-hand knowledge, because this is a very post-conflict situation that the world is living in. I hope our experiences, the intelligence from the experts and also from your own experiences will help us imbibe in our own spirits towards this particular cause. And I think we have built in a lot of networking opportunities for you with the outside world, also within the subject area. And we've almost taken care of most of the things, but in case you find something missing, we're more than happy to make those flexible things. And we're more than delighted to have you for the next 1 week. I know 1 week is a very, very small time, but we've tried to do everything possible within our own limitations to do everything the best we can. And I'm sure you're just being a wonderful cohort, and we could have asked for nothing better than this. And look forward to be interacting very, very closely with you. And also, like, we have 8 distinguished faculty from Jindal teaching 10 sessions along with Mr. P.C. Sharma. So all of them are exemplary and dealing with 6 days of in-house and outdoor sessions. It's a great opportunity for our students whom were enthusiastically engaging with you amidst. We had ice pellets with rain yesterday. It's a very unique thing in Sonipat, but I think we are more than happy that you brought in something unique to Sonipat, despite all these things. So thanks for bearing with all the discomforts. And I think the rest of the 6 days will be much more memorable for years. And I'm sure this thing would continue for many more years. We want you to come here every year, bring in as more programs and knowledge, and also students, and deepen our own sense of belonging to Afghanistan. Thank you so very much. And with these words, I would like to invite Mr. Shri Danish to give us introductory remarks.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank you very much from OP Jindal Global University, and especially from...
With your permission, can I have my tea?
Please, please. And Dr. Murthy and Professor Anuraga for managing this opportunity that we are gathering under this area, and also the 15 professional staff from university from different departments are gathering here. Of course, I think these people are more involved in preparing the strategic plan, preparing the action plan, or also managing overall the HRC's activities. So I hope that during this week...
Will it be okay if we know which departments they represent?
Yes.
Sorry. I hope during this 1 week, I think we'll be able to share our knowledge, to share our experience with you, and also learn some new tools, new skills for better management of the HRC task when you are returning back. And we are very happy that we have the TC Sharma and also Dr. Mehdi and Anuradha and Anubhava. Yeah. I would like to give you very short information regarding the Human Rights Commission. AIHRC is a national human rights commission working in the area of promotion and protection of human rights. This institution was established based on Bonn Conference agreement and also the presidential decree. Afterwards, pursuant to the Article 58 of Afghan Constitution, I think, it found a legal base to monitor the human rights observance and also as well as to protect and promote the human rights in the country. Of course, each and individual person shall complain, I think, regarding their human rights violations, and the Human Rights Commission will refer it to the legal authority and will assess them and defend their rights. Of course, the structures, the duties, and the mandates of the HRCs are defined in a special law. AHRC has a board of member leaderships composed of 9 commissioners who are determined by the president. The chairperson is among from the commissioners or member of commissioners who is appointed by the president. Of course, the deputy chairperson is elected from the commissioners' members. The secretariat, I think, are headed by the executive director. All the administrations and executive activities are headed or regulated by the executive director of the commission. HRC has different types of units carried out HRC activities in the country. We have the human rights education units, and also we have the women rights units, we have the child rights units, we have the person with disability units, we have the police ombudsman, we have the monitoring and investigation of human rights violations, we have the monitoring, report, evaluation and reporting units, and we have the special investigation team, and also we have the research and investment, and we have the publication units. These are the programs running in the Human Rights Commission. Besides this, we have the management units as well, who are supporting and managing the overall activities. We have the legal advisors, we have the database unit, we have the information technology, we have the finance department, we have the human resource department, and also we have the procurement departments. All the AIHRC's activities are carried out in the country through central office in Kabul, and also 8 regional offices, and also 6 provincial offices. Each regional offices cover several provinces in the country, cover the activities, and also each province office works in the same province. All the activities of the HRC, I think it's outlined in the strategic plan. The HRC has its 5-year strategic plan, and 5-year action plan. So they are focusing on based on 4 main objectives or goals. We have leadership, we have promotion of human rights, we have the empowerment, that this is one of the activities which is located in the empowerment goals and objectives, and also we have the protection and monitoring of the human rights. So of course, I think I would like to give a brief. Mr. Farzam, I think he is one of our senior staff who has worked with the Human Rights Commission almost more than 10 years, and he is the program manager of the Kabul Regional Office, I think, which is after the head office has more activities to do based in the Kabul office. Hanifa Jamal, I think she has worked also more than, I think, 12 to 13 years with the Human Rights Commission in a different position. Currently, she is in charge of operation managers. Mr. Zadran Babragza, I think he is also one of the oldest, we can say, more than 14 to 13 years. He has worked with the Human Rights Commission. He is in charge of child rights units coordination. These staffs are all working at the national level. Mr. Mahabati also, he is the same position, and he is working in the people with disability units, and he has also worked more than 12 to 13 years. Mr. Mansour Ifaf, he is one of the member of the finance team, and he is working in the finance in the head office. Mr. Salim Ahmad, I think he is also has more than, I think, 14 years. All these people, I think, in the Human Rights Commission, so he is in the liaison office. Mr. Dawood Pajman, he is member of monitoring, evaluation and reporting units. And also Mr. Hadi Bashardos, he is in charge of human resources officer. And then I think Mr. Abid Langri, he is working in the procurement department. Then we have Mr. Amir Lahmi, he is one of the senior staff in finance and also focal point for the field offices of the Human Rights Commission. Mr. Daqiq, I think he is chief of the procurement department. Mr. Turki, I think, is also a member of monitoring, evaluation and reporting units. Mr. Bilal Siddiqui, I think he was the former head of one of our provincial offices, but I think he recently has assigned as a spokesman for the Human Rights Commission. Mr. Nasima Amini is one of the senior finance staff. She is doing as finance officer. So I think we have the whole team I think here, and also we hope that we will be able to learn the things which is managed here, also which we will go back and also will implement it with our activities. And I'm sure that we'll have a good sessions, and Lord, thank you very much in advance from all the things we manage for the dinner, for the accommodation, for the everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Shukrullah, the National Finance Manager. Thank you.
یک مؤسسه غیر انتفاعی هستیم. ما بودجه چیزی نداریم و از خود به اصطلاح به پای خود استاد هستیم و خود ما را پیش میبریم. در سال 2001 که تأسیس شده، ما از کشورهای مختلف دیگه محصل داریم. همکاری‌های ما در کشورهای مختلف دنیا است که از جمله افغانستان هم از خوشبختانه از افغانستان کسایی که شما عکس دیدین در بیرون از دکتر صاحب و از سکینه یعقوبی، کسای دیگه هم بودن که با ما همکاری دو طرفه دارن، از اینا یاد کردن. هرچند اونا گفتن ما از همه از اونا بسیار آموختیم، ولی مردمای با استعدادی بودن. شما هم در شرایط بسیار دشوار کار میکنین، از ما بیشتر بسیار مسائل معلومات دارین. استعداد شما و کار شما برای ما قابل قدر است، ما همه میفهمیم. شما در مورد وضعیت حقوق بشری افغانستان، در مورد موضوعات حقوق بشری دنیا موضوعات بسیار زیاد را میفهمیم، دانستین و از ما تجربه داریم. خوش هستیم که ما شما را داریم، ولی نمیتونیم که در 10 جلسه یا کم و بیش در 12 جلسه که است ما همه چیزا را دو کور بکنیم، ولی کوشش میکنیم هر آن چیزی که ما او را انتخاب کردیم با هم او را پیش ببریم. و در آخر گفتن که محصلینی که در اینجا هستن ممکن از اندوختهای شما، از یافته‌های شما اونا یاد بگیرن، هرچند دو محصلی که دیروز بود از شما یاد گرفتن. ما امیدوار هستیم که همکاری‌های ما ادامه داشته باشه در رابطه با بلند بردن ظرفیت شما. هر آنچه در تلاشی که بود ان شاء الله همکاری خواهد کرد. گپای خلاصی گپای همچنین ما خانم انورادا بود. تشکر.
Hope you have had a nice trip and safe trip to the Delhi and the campus, and I want to extend a warm welcome to our inaugural speaker, Mr. P.C. Sharma, who has accepted our request and to be with us this morning. I will give you a brief introduction to our university and also to the work of the Center for Human Rights Studies. We started in 2009 with a law school with 10 faculty members and 100 students, and then we established 5 other schools dealing with business, international affairs, government and public policy, liberal arts and humanities, and this year the 6th school of journalism and communication will start its programs. We have a strong focus on research and capacity building. We have each of our schools have several research centers. For instance, the law school has nearly 20 research centers undertaking cutting-edge research, and I personally direct the Center for Human Rights Studies. And we have today 2,800 students and about 220 faculty members, and we maintain 1:13 faculty-student ratio, and the faculty come from all parts of the world. About 20 to 25% of our faculty members are foreigners with outstanding qualifications and who are living in Sonipat and who are teaching in Sonipat. Some of them will meet you during the course of this program. And we have also been quite active on the capacity building efforts. Anuradha mentioned our motto of a private university promoting public service. We have done trainings for Indian Administrative Service,
Indian Police Service, Indian Revenue Service, Army, Central Police Organizations, and state civil services. And we have also been, we have trained two sets of Afghan civil servants at our campus, and also trained Bangladesh government civil servants. And the Center for Human Rights Studies has been undertaking cutting-edge research in many areas, including right to vote, abolition of death penalty, rights of persons with disabilities, terrorism and human rights. And on behalf of the University Grants Commission, we are currently developing training modules for teaching human rights at the postgraduate level, which are available virtually for learning anywhere in the world. We are also working on the issues relating to refugees and migrants. And can we have the translation? And then,
ادامه پروفسور مالتایی لطف کردن گفتن که ما همه شما را خوش آمدید میگم و خوش آمدید به دیلی به هندوستان. میخواهیم که در مورد از این پانتونی که شما جا تشریف دارن در مورد یک مقدار گپ بزنم. ما این پانتون در سال 2001 از کشورهای مختلف اینجا محصلین آمدن و تأسیسش البته در اون سالها بودن. به سال 2009 و آغاز از 10 پروفسور و 100 شاگرد شده که ما کار شروع کردیم و اولین عناوین ما در این پانتون از در مورد حکومتداری خوب، در مورد مکاتب ژورنالیسم و در این اواخر دیپارتمنت دیگه به نام افهام و تفهیم را ما اضافه کردیم در مورد بلند بردن ظرفیت. فاکولته داریم و محصلین در این مورد یاد میگیرن. بخش تحقیق یک بخش دیگه است، بخش آموزش حقوق بشر هم دیگه است. یک مقدار ارقام دادن که به اقتدارش نتونستم بگیرم، ولی گفتن بیشتر از 200 نفر شاگرد در موضوعات حقوق بشر آموزش دیدن. اونا گفتن که در تمام محصلین ما بیشتر از 25% شاگردای خارجی هستن، یعنی محصلینی که از خارج هندوستان به اینجا تشریف آوردن، اینجا مصروف فراگیری تحصیل هستند که تعداد زیاد از آنها افغان‌ها هستند و ما شما در جریان از این کورس‌ها 6 روزی که شما خواهد بودید تعداد از محصلین افغان هم اینجا ملاقات خواهد کردیم و شما ممکن به دیدن شما یا به جلسات شما شامل شوند. ایشان افزودن که موضوعات حقوق بشر نه تنها برای محصلین خارجی بلکه ما در داخل برای پلیس هندوستان، برای اردوی هندوستان، برای مامورین خدمات ملکی، برای گمرکات و حتی برای مامورین خدمات ملکی افغانستان هم آموزش‌های را فراهم ساختیم. موضوعات تروریسم، حقوق بشر، موضوعات افراد دارای معلولیت، حقوق بشر و انکشاف، حقوق بشر و انکشاف حقوق بشری، موضوعات مهاجرین، موضوعات پناهجویی و از جمله موضوعات است که شامل از این بحث است و ما روی از این در فاکولت‌های مختلف کار می‌کنیم.
These 6 schools of our university are complemented by 3 research institutes dealing with Jindal Institute of Behavioral Sciences, and we have an international Institute for Higher Education Research and Capacity Building, and we have Jindal Institute of Leadership Development and Executive Education. And today we have an 80-acre campus with excellent physical infrastructure, with a medical center, gym, and a global reading room. And I request you to use all these facilities during this program. And I wanted to mention a few other aspects also. Like we are soon going to host the President of India at our campus on the next Saturday, and he will be inaugurating a 3-day international conference on higher education. And as for myself, I worked in the National Human Rights Commission of India for over 12 years. I initially joined as a spokesperson, worked for there 3 years, and thereafter I started directing the policy research programs and projects division, and it was a wonderful opportunity, and I wanted to briefly introduce our inaugural speaker for this morning. Mr. Shri Sharma is a former civil servant who held very senior positions in the Indian Police Service in Assam, and also he was the Director General of Police in the northeastern state of Sikkim, and he went on to become the Director of the Central Bureau of Investigation, which is the premier agency in the government for investigating major cases of corruption, etc. And he also held some senior positions in the Interpol, and Mr. Sharma was a member or a commissioner in the National Human Rights Commission of India for 2 terms, and he was there from 2004 to 2012, and he is a very inspirational person, and he took his work as a commissioner with great passion, and I have had a chance to accompany him on a number of fact-finding missions, and for monitoring the mental health institutions, and also for monitoring the rights of persons with disabilities, and also right to health. We have done a number of national inquiries on monitoring the right to health, and Mr. Sharma also led a report on the missing children, and which gave a lot of recommendation, and he, as a member of the commission, asked our university's Center for Human Rights Studies to undertake a study on the working of the National Human Rights Commission, and also suggest a roadmap for improving it. So myself and my colleagues spent a few months in the National Human Rights Commission, meeting various officials, collecting data, and thereafter we submitted a blueprint for reorienting and for a reform of the National Human Rights Commission of India. He brings a wealth of experience, having been at the apex of the commission as one of the most dynamic members, and who really transformed the commission, and who really add great stature to the NHRC. He represented the commission at the UN Human Rights Council, at the Asia Pacific Forum, and other international fora, and he was one of the was very popular with the non-governmental organizations, and we are really pleased to have him speak to us on the leadership strategies on human rights, law and management this morning.
جناب ایشون فرمودن که خب ما 6 مکتب در خود فانتون داریم که به آخر نو ایجاد شده، در بخش تحقیق، در بخش لیدرشپ، در بخش جندر، موضوعات ساینس هست که میتونه شما رو بگیرید، موضوعات دیگه که جای دیگه که هست، مثل که ایشان گفتن دیگه بخش پورتی است، مرکز صحی است، جای برای معاصرین است و تفریحگاه های است که وجود داره در این فانتون. شخص دیگی که اینا یاد کردن که از این فانتون دیدن کردن ممکن بیان در اطلاعاتی آینده آقای رئیس جمهور هند است که در مورد تسهیلات و سخنرانی‌های در این مورد خواهد داشت. موضوعات که ایشان ممکن تشریف برن، موضوعات پالیسی، تحقیق و حقوق بشر از جمله موضوعاتی است که در اون بحث ممکن موضوعات داخل اجندا باشد. جناب ایشون فرمودند که یگانه شخص موثری که در این اجنده هم هستن. آقای شرما که مقام بسیار بلندی دارن. آقای شرما در چوکات پلیس هند یک آدم بسیار بارز و مؤثر بوده. اونا روی موضوعات مهم تحقیق کردن، موضوعات عمومی کلانی که در حکومت هندوستان، موضوعات فساد اداری، موضوعات جرایم، موضوعاتی که در رابطه میگیره با پلیس اینترپول. آقای شرما نقش بسیار مهم داشتن. ما میتونیم بگوییم که از سال 2004 تا سال 2012 یک شخص بسیار دینامیک، یک شخص بسیار مؤثر حتی در کمیسیون حقوق بشر هند بودن. اونا قضایای مثل حقیقتیابی، قضایای جرم‌یابی، نظارت از جمله نظارت و بررسی حقوق بشری، نظارت افراد دارای معلولیت، موضوعات صحت، تحقیق، اطفال که گم میشن، اطفال که بی سرپرست هستن و به اصطلاح مفقود میگردن. در این مورد آقای شرما بسیار نقش بارز را انجام دادن. آقای شرما از جمله کسایی بوده که در هند در جمع‌آوری معلومات قضایا تغییرات موثر در کمیسیون حقوق بشر هند در ساختارش به وجود آورده و از جمله کسایی است که نقش بسیار مهمی را در موضوعات حقوق بشری آسیا پاسیفیک و آسیا فورن داشتند.
Thank you. I now request Mr. Sharma to give his address.
One thing was missing, and that was that I started my career as a college teacher. And opportunities like this give me a great pleasure to revive my teaching skills. I have had 2 or 3 occasions in the past when I was in National Human Rights Commission of interacting with officers from Afghanistan. They came to NHRC and there also I interacted with them. So I have very close bonding with the officers from Afghanistan and with the Afghanistan as a country. Why? I'm deeply interested in the history of Afghanistan. The more I read about Afghanistan, the more I feel that you all are so close to us, culturally, historically, economically also these days. And some of our problems, human rights problems, forget about other problems, are common. What are these? Economic issues, conflict areas, religious fundamentalism, inequalities in the society, and political turbulence. We also have these problems. And therefore, it is easy for me or easy for all of us to understand each other. Problems are common. Solutions also should be common. And a class like this offers a great opportunity to share each other's experience. So I would request all of you not only to listen to me, but I would like to hear you also. What have been your experience? How you are viewing the human rights situation in your country and the world over. I'll speak slowly so that making it easy for the translator. I won't make your task complicated. Shall I proceed or will you like to? You raise your hand when you want to speak. Then I'll stop.
بسیار تشکر خانم انورادا موریتی و دوستای بسیار عزیزم که از افغانستان تشریف آوردیم. ما در مورد سخنایی که 2 نفر قبلا صحبت کرد یک چیز کم محسوس میکنم و اویی است که ما یک پروفسور پانتون هستم، سالها در پانتون درس دادیم. کمی ای بوده که خوشبختانه اون کمی حالا پوره بشه که ما میتونم باعث یک معلم از شما بیاموزم و باعث یک معلم یا مربی در لکچر صحبت کنم و باعث یک معلم به اصطلاح او را خودم پوره بکنم. ایشان افزودن که افغانستان، من باعث یک کسی که به خاطر دارم افغانستان کشوری است که با ما عمیقا از نگاه تاریخی با ما هم سان هستند، از نگاه کلتوری، از نگاه اقتصادی با ما با هندوستان بسیار نزدیک هستند. تمام کلتور و رسم و رواج و موضوعات مشترک بین خود داریم. او موضوعات مشترک موضوعات اقتصادی است، موضوعات منازعه است، موضوعات مذهبی است، بی‌عدالتی‌هایی که در جامعه است، موضوعات سیاسی است که با هم ما را شریک ساخته. هرچند که من از همه کسایی که من میشناسم خاطرهای بسیار خوبی دارم، همه از اونا به ذهنم است، ولی فرصت بسیار مناسب است برای من که ما چون با همه مسائل در رابطه با اقتصاد و سیاست و موضوعات حقوق بشری ما با هم یکسان هستیم که ما هم از خود بگوییم و بسیار علاقه‌مند خواه بودم به خاطر امی به اصطلاح همسانی که ما داریم در بین دو ملت علاقه‌مند هستم که از شما بشنوم. ما باعث یک معلم صحبت‌های خود بسیار آهسته میکنم و بخاطر که میگن در ترجمه چون موضوعات بسیار دلچسب است که کدام گپ نمانه، من آهسته صحبت میکنم و از شما هم بشنوم و خودم هم در موضوعات مرتبط صحبت خواهم کرد.
I will confine myself to three subjects, three issues. Though human rights is a very vast subject, these three issues are human rights as such, number two, capacity building, which is the main topic, and number three is management techniques. First of all, I would like to say, which I'm saying something which you already know, but it needs reiteration, that human rights is the creed of the day. Today's world in which we are living, human rights has come to stay. We cannot live without preserving our own rights as well as the rights of others. Only then we can have a cohesive society, only then we can have a tranquil society, only then we can have peaceful life. The first principle or the first tenet of this new creed of our times is right to life. How important life is. You friends from Afghanistan and we from India know it, because every other day something is happening in both the countries where human life is being endangered. People are being killed, people are being mutilated, and life is at great risk. How to protect this most important aspect of human rights, that is right to life. If my life is not safe, if I am not at liberty to live the way I want to live, then what are all human rights about? All strategies, all management techniques, all government policies, economic as well as political, must ensure that our life as it has been given to us by God, by Allah, remains safe, remains peaceful, and we should be able to interact with each other in a fearlessly and with a sense of security. It is because of this that we are together. Human life can be protected by 3-4 methods. Important, my dear friends, to say. First agency, first arm of the government to protect human life is the state. states' policy have to be such, their management techniques have to be such, their implementation program has to be such that they make the human life safe and noble. And safe and noble for everyone, all sections of the society. Not for me alone, not for you alone, but for everyone. So the first agency, the first entity which comes into picture to make human life right to live safe and secure is the state. Second is the society. Society also must realize that we are all brothers, we are all equal. More importantly, that we owe a duty to each other. I must protect you, you must protect me, you must regard my life as important, I must regard your life as important. Unless this camaraderie, unless this fellow feeling is there among the society, no amount of state action can help. Society must realize their responsibility. Social responsibility is very, very important. Third are the institutions. Institutions is a very important arm, a very important entity to safeguard human rights. For example, Human Rights Commission, yours as well as ours. The Parliament is an institution. Human Rights Commission is an institution. Judiciary is an institution. So, and there can be others also. So unless all the institutions lawfully established by the government, lawfully established by the Parliament, also play a role in protecting, preserving our rights, it will be difficult to live in a peaceful world. So, institutions are very important from time to time, not only protecting human rights, but also coming with new strategies, because human rights are engaged in this task. They must tell the society, they must tell the government, they must tell other institutions that this is good for the promotion of human rights. Changing situations, they have to take note of. Economic realities, they have to take note of. Social problems, they have to take note of. So these three, there are many others, but these three are important entities, important areas where human rights issues can be discussed, they can be protected, they can be promoted.
جناب پروفسور صاحب گفتن که همه شما میدونید از مقطع بیشتر شما به این مسائل درگیر هستید، ولی من فقط یک تکرار احسن میکنم که ما باید به حقوق بشر ایمان داشته باشیم، بدون اینکه ما باید بدون از اون ما نمیتونیم زندگی کنیم و در رعایت حقوق بشر باید احترام متقابل باشه. چیزی که از جمله اساسات یا اولین عنصر از این موضوعات جامعه عالی از خشونت است که موضوعات حقوق بشری باید رعایت بکنیم. اولین عنصر به او حق زندگی است. حق زندگی بسیار اهمیت داره به خاطر که در هر دو مملکت قضایایی که اتفاق میفته تقریبا یکی است و زندگی در دو کشور با شما هر روز بگویم در خطر است. اگر زندگی مسئول نباشه، ما آزادی نداشته باشیم، یعنی حقوق بشر معنی ندارد. حکومت ها مکلف است که پالیسی بسازن و حکومت ها مکلف است که بیمه بکنن زندگی را و انسان ها را و ما خودش با یکدیگر پذیری. ما تا او وقت در امنیت زندگی کردن میتونیم که زندگی در امنیت ما تا او وقت در امنیت زندگی کنیم زمانی که ما یعنی زندگی ما مسئول باشه. ایشان فرمودند که حکومت، دولت و ایجنسی ها پالیسی و تصمیم و مدیریت و موضوعات حقوق بشری همه از اونا را اگر ما بخواهیم که به طور مؤثر و به طور از این که ما از اون منفعت ببریم داشته باشیم، سه موضوع بسیار مهم است، یعنی سه عنصر. نهاد اول و سه نهاد مهم است که نهاد اول از او گفتن که کسی است که باید نهاد اول موضوعات حقوق بشری که رعایت بکنه دولت است. دوم از این دولت ها مکلف است که تامین بکنن موضوعات حقوق بشری را یا حق زندگی انسان را. دوم از اجتماع است. اجتماع بسیار نقش موثری را داره که باید اجتماع بپذیره که ما با هم برابر و با هم برادر هستیم، باید با احترام متقابل باید دیگر برخورد بکنیم و ما یک زندگی رفیقانه را داشته باشیم. اجتماع یک نقش بسیار موثری در رعایت حقوق بشری دارد. سوم گفتن که بعد از اجتماع سوم عنصر مؤسسات هستند. مؤسسات هم قسمی که شما خود ما کمیسیون حقوق بشر یک مؤسسه است، مثل نهادهای دیگه مثل پارلمان، قوای قضاییه مؤسسات است که در تامین حق زندگی انسان ها نقش بسیار مؤثر دارد. باید مؤسسات به طور خاص از طرف دولت ایجاد شود و دولت ها مؤسساتی که در اون عدالت تامین باشه او را به رسمیت بشناسن و اون مؤسساتی که اونا باز بتانن به اصطلاح هم موضوعات حقوق بشری را بلند ببرن و هم تامین بکنن و هم پیشنهادات دیگری را به خاطر پیشنهادات مثبت را برای دولت ارائه بکنن تا باشه او در مورد تامین حقوق بشری و پیشنهادات برای دولت یک راهکار باشه که تا حق زندگی مردم بیشتر تامین شده بکنن.
Thank you. Now, I would next touch upon the issues which are very prominent and the issues which are afflicting the society and affecting the human rights. There are many. I can't give an exhaustive list, but I will touch upon them. In your country as well as ours, particularly, generally all over the world, there are a number of conflict areas where there are religious clashes, ethnic clashes, ideological clashes, as a result of which the life of the common man generally is endangered. Clashes or conflict areas are the worst enemies of human rights because there you lose all scruples. In our country, there have been clashes over fundamentalism. There have been clashes over language. There have been clashes over ethnic issues. And I'm sure in your country also, these conflict areas are there. It's not easy. To handle or manage a conflict area is not only a law and order problem that you tell the police or you tell the administrator that you go and handle it. It is a very important subject which has to be handled with great sensitivity. You have to understand the issues. You can't simply suppress them. Unless you go to the root of the problem, unless you understand the issues, you will not be able to manage the conflict situations. I once attended an international conference in Ireland. And you know where Ireland? Belfast. One of the worst conflict areas in the world. And that conference was an eye-opener. Eye-opener in the sense that today's world, despite all the talk about non-violence, peace, treaties, UNO, other thing, is being afflicted by a number of conflict areas. And these conflict areas have violated human rights, have brought misery to the people, have deprived them of their right to life. A lot of people are being killed in conflict areas. They have also deprived them of their economic well-being. they cannot pursue their life the way they want. So conflict areas have to be identified, ladies and gentlemen, properly if we want to overcome the human rights problems. And as I told you, they can be handled, they can be tackled if we understand the issues. Okay, why there is a conflict? Why the two tribes are clashing with each other? Why two ethnic groups are clashing with each other? Why two religious groups are clashing each other? We don't understand these things. We simply go with the bullet and try to try to quieten the situation. A deep, sympathetic understanding of the issues which are creating a conflict situation is necessary. I will proceed further after you have,
So,
because to my mind, this is a very important issue.
جناب پروفسور صرف اضافه کردن که موضوع بسیار مهمه که امروز ما با او سرشار هستیم، نه تنها در مملکت ما، در مملکت شما، بلکه در تمام دنیا. اون جاهایی است که در حال منازعه است، در حال سرخورد است. این منازعات مذهبی است، منازعات سیاسی است، منازعات نژادی است. در این مناطقی که در اونجا منازعه جریان داره، یعنی نقض حقوق بشری افراد و دشمن حقوق بشری ما باید بشناسیم که در همان جای اتفاق میفته. حتی بنیادگرایی هم که در مورد بنیادگرایی اگر منازعه در حال جریان باشد. چیزی که ما تاکید کردن گفتن که شناخت و دلیل مناطقی که در اون منازعه جریان داره بسیار مهم است. به خاطر اینکه در جایی که منازعه جریان داره اگر ما ببینیم در همه جایی که منازعه در حال جریان است حاکمیت قانون بسیار ضعیف است. تا که شما ریشه یا مشکل اصلی تا که شما داخل شناخت ریشه و مشکل اصلی جایی که منازعه جریان دارد نتونین داخل شوید و او رو تشخیص دادن نتونین، شما نمیتونین به اصطلاح بگویید که اینجا حاکمیت قانون یا احترام متقابل حقوق بشری موجود است. ایشان امروز گفتن که امروز در همه مورد مثلا در مورد خشونت، در مورد صلح، در مورد قوانین، در مورد قراردادها، در مورد بعضی سندهای مهم، در مورد منازعه، مشکلات، قتل، تهدیدهای نژادی یا بحث صورت میگیره زمانی که قوانین که اون خود انسان‌ها ساخته و در اون مورد بحث میکنه. با وجود همون قوانین هم میبینید که بازم نقض حقوق بشری اتفاق میفته و مردم ها کشته میشه و این جریان داره. پس به این خاطر ما تاکید میکنم باز در حالی که قوانین هم برش وجود داشته باشه، یک دستور العمل هم که انسان را واقع داره که اونا خشونت و مناقشه و مناظره نژادی و سیاسی و مذهبی نبکنن، اگر به اصطلاح موضوع را نشناسن، منطقه را مطالعه نکنن و دلیل که چرا این منازعه بین از گروه های متخاصم جریان داره، اگر شناخت محل به اصطلاح درست دقیق مطالعه نشه و دلیل که چرا منازعه جریان داره، باز هم ما شاهد نقض حقوق بشری و از دادن زندگی انسان خواهیم است.
Thank you. The next point which I should deal with is class, caste and religion. These three things are a great source of violence, and I should say they are in a way agents of violation of human rights. In our country we have seen there are certain groups who are very class conscious. They think they are different from others. Similarly, you must have read, you must have seen, there is a caste system in India. Upper caste, lower caste, scheduled caste, and things are much better now, but there were times when mixing of the various castes with each other was a serious problem, and it led to domination of the upper caste over the lower caste. Similarly, there are different religions. There is Hinduism, there is Islam, there is Christianity, there is Buddhism. Though all these religions are meant to promote brotherhood, but there have been serious situations where because of religious conflicts, violation of human rights have taken place. Conflicts have taken place. People forgot that they are human beings. They only thought in terms of their religion. That we are Hindus, we are Muslims, we are Christians. And these situations keep on, not only in India and in Afghanistan, keep on affecting the human rights all over the world. Not only now, from times immemorial. See the history. There have been crusades, there have been proselytization, there have been conversions, then there have been lack of understanding of each other's religions. All these things have led to violation of human rights. While I'm talking this, let me also at the same time tell how to manage it, how to build a capacity in this. By preaching as I am preaching to you, you cannot solve these problems. You have to work on the ground. You have to have a moral authority. You have to have understanding of each other's religion, each other's caste, each other's issues. Only then you can sympathize with each other. So, in order to overcome issues arising out of class, caste, and religion, we have to have leaders of great stature, moral stature, who understand. Moral leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, leaders like the Frontier Gandhi. You know Frontier Gandhi? Khan Abdul Bashar. You have to have leaders like this. They have moral authority. They have understanding of each other. They have brotherhood, sense of brotherhood. These are the people who can provide the right kind of leadership. A person holding a government position, like me, like you, can help in a very limited way. But a person like Basha Khan, who has a vision, who has a stature, who has international recognition, is the best person for this kind. Or we should emulate his example. We should follow his example if we want to bring peace in the society. Next is religion. I was just talking about religion. Religion has created, worked havoc in this world. Sorry for saying, so I'm not hurting anybody's feelings. Please understand. It's not only Muslim religion, it's not only Christianity, it's my own religion also. Religion also has created havoc in this world. In the name of religion, a lot of killings are taking place. Lot of violence is taking place. And lot of violation of human rights is taking place. How to tackle these issues? This issue can be tackled only by a deep understanding of each other, by understanding that we are all human beings. Religion doesn't teach violence. Religion doesn't bring disunity. All these things have to be understood, because if we have to live peacefully, if we have to protect our right to life, we have to understand each other as a human being, each other as a religious person. Only then we can ensure peace for all and a universal understanding of the right to life. Right now, I'll make it bold to say that despite all that is taking place in the world to promote human rights, still the universal understanding of human rights is missing. It's not there. Or if it is there, people are interpreting it in their own way. Shall I stop here?
جناب پروفسور صاحب روی موضوعات دیگه هم اشاره کردن که خود طبقات اجتماعی که در کشورها هست، خود طبقه حاکم بالا پایین و سطح زندگی مردم و طبقات مختلف این باعث عظمت طلبی و جاه طلبی میشه. در بعض موارد ما می‌دانیم که مذاهب هم در کشورهایی که مناصر جیران داره، مذهب اگر در هر مذهبی که مذهب ما باشه، مذهب شما باشه، مذاهب دیگه باشن، در حال منازعه هستند و در اوج هم برابری و برادری حتی سخن هم میزنند، باز هم بین خود منازعه دارن و منازعه در جریان است که حق زندگی در اوج هم پامال است و حق زندگی طلب میشه. این موضوع باعث میشه که موضوعات حقوق بشری را که ما پیشتر هم یاد کردیم به خود عدم شناخت از دین، از مذهب یک مسئله دیگه است که ما هرچند که تمام ادیان با هم برابری و برادری را به اصطلاح تبلیغ میکنند ولی در بین خود باز هم در حال منازعه هستند. این است که عدم شناختی که ما پیشتر گفتیم، عدم شناخت از منازعه اگر نباشد باز هم اتفاقات با وجود میاد و حق زندگی نقص میشه. ما که به اصطلاح ورکشاپ یا گرد همایی به نام ظرفیت سازی که ما به اصطلاح چطور ظرفیت بلند ببریم، خب ما نمیتونیم که تماماً و یا شما همه این مشکلات حل بکنیم و به این مشکلات فائق شدیم، ولی میتونیم به اصطلاح یک راهکاری که مثل یک لیدر به اصطلاح کار میکنه، یک لیدر مثلا زحمات و راهکارها و مدل های را میسازه، خود مدل میسازه و خود به اصطلاح قسم یک پالیسی را پیش میبره که مردم دیگه به دور از اون جمع میشه. مثلا از جناب مهاتما گاندی سیرونا یاد کردن، از گاندی سرحد که خانه دو غفارخان است، یا مثلا امو شعار اصلا که عدم تشدد بود یا من خشونت ها بود که زحمات بسیار زیاد قبول کردن، از خود یک مدل ساختن در رابطه با احترام متقابل، در رابطه با حاکمیت موضوعات حقوق بشری در جامعه‌ای که زندگی میکردن. دیگه هم در مورد مذهب هم گفتن که من مثل که بیشتر گفتن تمام مذاهب در ادیان ما میبینیم که در حال منازعه هستند و نقض حقوق بشری را به نام مذهب اونا چیز میشن. معذرت خواست گفت بلا که مذهب ما باشه، مذهب شما باشه، ولی ما میبینیم در دنیا که امروز به نام مذهب مسائل مختلف وجود داره، انسان ها زندگی خود از دست میدن و حق زندگی خود از دست میدن تا که باز تاکید کردن تا که شناختی از منازعه ما نداشته باشه ما نمیتونیم در صلح زندگی کنیم و یک فضای صلح‌آمیز را ایجاد کنیم و فضای صلح‌آمیز را ایجاد کنیم و حق زندگی را سطح جهان یقینی بسازیم.
Thank you. The next point, which is a very important point in promoting and protecting human rights, is economic and cultural issues. See, if you read the history of the world, you will find that economic policies, say 50 years back or even earlier, were formulated in a manner that they benefited only a few, not everyone. The upper class benefited most, the lords, the feudal lords, the zamindars as we call them in India, benefited it only. Lower classes who worked for the upper classes were not the real beneficiaries of the economic policies. It's only in modern times, the latter half of the 20th century and the current century, that there is an emphasis on formulation of economic policy which benefit everyone. Because if only a few get rich and richer and prosperous, and others are denied certain benefits, there is bound to be conflict. There is bound to be inequality in the society, and there is bound to be violation of human rights. So economic policies have to be handled. So when we talk of management, when we talk of capacity building, it is important that our economic policies, programs, have to be designed in a manner that they extend benefits to everyone, rich, poor, socially deprived, economically deprived, everyone. Only then they can. Otherwise, resentment, a feeling of discrimination, a feeling of inequality will persist, and it will someday erupt in violence, in conflict, and lead to violation of human rights. So it is very, very important that our economic policies are designed very well. Then there are certain cultural issues. In India, there are different cultures, different languages, and there have been times in the past when cultural issues have created problems. Why? It is again lack of understanding. It is again intolerance for the culture of each other. These issues have plagued human society in the past, and they are plaguing though in a smaller measure, even today. And they are great source of violence and violation of human rights. So cultural issues have to be understood. How they can be understood? Not simply by reading a book that your culture is like this, my culture is like this. It has to be with a sense of understanding. That though we are culturally, linguistically different from each other, but we as human beings, we are the same. We may be speaking different languages, maybe wearing different clothes, our manner of living, our style of living may be different from each other, but essentially, as created by God, as created by Allah, we are human beings. And if this kind of understanding is there in our mind, we'll start respecting each other as human beings better than we do now. So cultural issues and economic issues are very important. And in these areas, capacity building will come more from society and educational institutions. If you want to build your capacities to tackle cultural issues, your education system must improve. It is through education that we understand each other. Education will generate awareness. Awareness will not simply come by talking to each other as we are talking today. It comes by education. Education leads to understanding. Understanding leads to brotherhood. So in areas when we design our capacity building, education must be given a prime push. Shall I stop here?
Yes. پروفسور صاحب فرمودن که موضوعی که بسیار مهم است و موضوع انکشاف و حمایت از حقوق بشر است. اگر ما مطالعه بکنیم در 50 سال گذشته خود کسایی که سرمایه گذاری میکردن متاسفانه نفذی به طبقات بالا بود و یک طبقه پایین کار میکردن، یکی زیاد نفع میکرد یکی کم نفع میکرد. طبقات که ما بیشتر هم نام گرفتیم به این خاطر بود که طبقه بالا و طبقه پایین برای طبقه بالا کار میکرد و نفع رو نام میبردن. این خود از باعث یک عدم فضای عدالت میشد و اونا فکر میکردن که کار ما کردیم و نفع بسیار شما بودیم. یعنی فضا را در جامعه قسم میساخت که مایوسیت به وجود بیاید و در پرتو از این مایوسیت خود منازعه و مناقشه به وجود بیاید. هرچند در قرن 20 و 21 تاکید به این بود که موضوعات اقتصادی که در اواخر قرن 20 و شروع قرن 21 تعداد تاکید میکردن که موضوعات اقتصادی یا پالیسی‌های اقتصادی که نفعش به همه برسه باید قبول بکنن. یک تعداد باز هم خود منفعتی که از نگاه اقتصادی بوده بین یکی دیگر در طبقات مختلف قبول نکردن که خود از این باعث نزاع و تشنج میشد. ولی شما که باعث کسایی که می‌آموزین و برای تغییر کار میکنین نباید مثل کسایی که اونا کمتر نفع می‌بردن از طرف کسایی که زیادتر بیشتر نفع می‌بردن در حال معاصره باشه. برای اینکه در حال معاصره باشه خود همون معاصره بودن اقتصادی باعث ایجاد منازعه میشه. پالیسی اقتصادی و پروگرام اقتصادی در یک چوکاتی که همه نفع ببرن، در اون غریب، فقیر، محروم، کسایی که کم میبرن، زیاد میبرن، بهش نمیبرن، این به اساس یک عدالت اگر استوار باشه ما میتونیم که به حساب عدالت استوار نگاه کنیم و میتونیم که خود فضای دوگانگی و چندینگانی در اجتماع که باعث نظام میشه این از بین ببریم. موضوع دیگر موضوع ایشان فرمودن موضوع کلتور است، مسائل کلتوری است. خود هندوستان شامل زبانها و مذاهب و موضوعات کلتوری بسیار زیاد است. زمانی که ما کلچر و کلتور نشناسیم خود عدم شناخت کلتورها و کلچرها و رسم و رواجها باعث نزاع، باعث بعض کنفلیکت ها و باعث منازعه میشه. برای اینکه ما یکی دیگر از مسائل کلتوری شناخت موردش نداریم و این موضوعات خود ریزه کلان میشه و باعث نزاع بزرگ میشه و نقش بسیار مهمی در نقض حقوق بشری داره و به وجود میره. انال عدم خشونت که در رابطه با کلتور و زبان و رواج که باعث نقض حقوق بشری میشه، این خود از این باعث میشه که موضوعات حقوق بشری پامال شود. شما باعث کسایی که میخواین ظرفیت حقوق بشری تان بلند ببرین بسیار تاکید بکنید سر تعلیم و تربیه، سر آموزش حقوق بشر، سر تعلیم و تربیه یعنی تعلیم و تربیه و شناخت کلتور کسایی دیگه که شما با اونا سر کار دارید. ایشان فرمودن که تعلیم و تربیه باعث شناخت میشه و شناخت باعث برابری و برابری میشه.
Thank you. Another next important point for capacity building is to generate awareness. Unless we are aware what is happening around, unless we are aware to the extent of human rights violation, and also unless we are aware what are the instruments available for us to protect human rights, like law, legislation, society, institution, unless we are aware, we will not be able to act in a manner which is desired of us. So, generating awareness about the importance of human life, generating awareness about the instruments available with us to protect and promote human rights is very, very important. Pardon my saying so, all human rights institutions, including some of the NGOs, you know NGOs,
Yes.
they have very bookish knowledge about human rights. Bookish knowledge is what? What UN says something, what Human Rights Council says something. This is not necessary. When I talk about awareness, it's not awareness of you and I. I can read a book, I can discuss, I can know from you what you are doing in your country, you can know from me what I am doing in my country. But awareness has to be generated among the society, among the youth, because they are our best soldiers for protecting human rights. And they should also know one thing, that if an individual's human right is violated, what he should do? Can he go to the court? Can he go to the parliament? Can he go to Human Rights Commission? Where should he go? So the society, young and old, everyone must be aware, number one, what is the human rights scenario in a particular country, particular geographical area, and what are the redressal elements available. Where he can go and knock at the door, whom he can go to. So generating awareness is empowering that person. If he is aware, he is empowered. If he is not aware, he is weak. So awareness about human rights is a very big step towards enabling the society, the human beings, to protect their human rights. That is very important, which I have always held as one of the best approaches to protect the human rights. Please.
جناب پروفسور صاحب گفتن که موضوع بعدی که است او موضوع بسیار مهم است که ما در مورد آگاهی باید بفهمیم. خود آگاهی در مورد حقوق بشر نقش بسیار مهم و نقش بسیار ارزنده دارد که ما باید جامعه را آگاه بسازیم و یک فضایی را بسازیم که جامعه بفهمه در رابطه با خود آگاهی و بفهمه که در کدام مورد حقوق بشری افراد نقض شده است. حمایت و انکشاف حقوق بشر منحصر است برای خود دادن آگاهی و یکی از روش‌ها و تکنیک‌هایی که میتونه این آگاهی را به سهم دیگران برساند این جوها است که ما همین نهادهای غیر دولتی را میگیم. NGOها یا نهادهای غیر دولتی به مانند اساکر است که در بین جامعه نفوذ میکنه و در بین جامعه اونا داخل هستن و از هر طریق میتونه به اصطلاح سلوک از اونا را بدل بکنه، سلوک از اونا را به اصطلاح چیز بکنه. NGOها نقش زیر داره زمانی که اونا از وسایل آگاهی دهی حقوق بشر اونا مجهز باشن، میتونن که افراد با استفاده سخنان از اونا بفهمن که به کجا برن، به محکمه برن، به عدالت برن، به حکومت برن. این وظیفه اینجا هست که مردم آگاه بسازه و روش و تکنیک های آگاهی دهی را برای اونا بفهمن. ما خود باید قادر بسازیم که خود به اصطلاح اول تقویه بکنیم آنقدر که به منظورشان از افهام و تفهیم حقوق بشری بوده که خود از اونا قادر شوند که اونا شناخت نقض خود بفهمند. زمانی که فهمیدن این یک قدم بسیار بزرگ است در جامعه از حقوق بشری که حقوق بشری از اونا که باید حمایت شود.
Thank you. I initially mentioned to you that there are three very important institutions which not only protect the human rights, but they protect the state itself, they protect the nation itself. These are bureaucracy, the executive. Number two, the parliament, the legislature. Number three, the judiciary. For all kind of law and management, for all kind of capacity building, these we have to look up to these three institutions. Their policies, their programs and judgments of these courts have to be human rights friendly. If the government policies are such that they create class consciousness, that their economic policies create disparities, that they don't take into consideration all sections of society, the weak and not so weak, there will never be harmony in the society. So in our management of the human rights issues, bureaucratic implementation of the government's program, their own policies have to be such that they are friendly to everyone. They are implemented for the benefit of everyone. Number two, the legislature. What is the role of the legislature? You all know. Role of the parliament, role of the assemblies, role of the legislature is to make laws. Laws are made with a view to regulate the society. Laws are made with a view to administering the country, the nation, and with the ultimate goal of for the welfare of everyone. Lawmaking is not an isolated activity. Lawmaking is there to regulate the society, to regulate the nation in a manner that everybody is safe, that everybody benefits. So, in other words, the legislature also makes such laws as are human rights friendly. Number three, which I consider the most important in the sphere of law and management and capacity building, is the courts, the judiciary. In India, judiciary has played a very, very important role, to the extent that they have expanded the definition of human rights. They have given so many judgments on the right to life that all human activities, all activities have been brought in the area of right to life. And if your judiciary is alert, if your judiciary is responsive, and if the judiciary is human rights friendly, then your rights are protected. You may not get relief from me as a bureaucrat. You may not get relief from the legislature. But if you go to the judiciary, you will get relief. And I can cite you, Mr. Murthy can cite you much more examples than I know of. Judiciary has played a stellar, a very important role in our country in protecting the human rights. As I told you, they are not only protecting the human rights, they have expanded the definition of human rights with a view to including everything. So judiciary, legislature, the executive can, I should say, are the ultimate in protecting the human rights, in building capacities, in coming out with new techniques, new policies. That is very, very important. I can say about Indian judiciary that we are lucky. The judiciary in India is very sensitive, very alive to the protection of human rights. I'm sure this must be the case in your country also. Shall we stop here?
Yes, sir. جناب پروفسور صاحب فرمودن که ما وسیع نهاد دیگه هم تاکید میکنم که اونا بسیار مهم هستند در رابطه با ظرفیت سازی، در رابطه با اینکه چطور در صورت از اونا موضوعات حقوق بشری و پالیسی ها و برنامه‌های حقوق بشری شامل باشه. خود بیروکراسی یکی گفتن پارلمان یا قوه تقنین قوانین که میسازن این بسیار مهم است و قوه قضاییه است. در اول گفتم که برای ظرفیت سازی به این سی عنصر که پالیسی ساز است، پالیسی میسازه، پروگرام میسازه، مقرره میسازه و قوانین دیگه را به اصطلاح نشر میکنه. بسیار ضروری است که موضوعات حمایت حقوق بشری شامل برنامه‌های از آنها باشد. حتی برنامه‌های از آنها بر اساس موضوعات حقوق بشری نباشند. این میشه است که یک مقدار بی‌عدالتی ها به وجود میاد و نقض حقوق بشری را به اصطلاح چیز میکنن به وجود میاد. خود بروکراسی اگر ما احترام متقابل، اگر ما مثلا مساوات و بعضی گپ‌های دیگرش در بروکراسی هایی که موجود است شامل ازی بکنیم، به یقین ما میتونیم که یک فضای عاری از خشونت ایجاد کردیم و همه کس از تو فضا منفعت مساوی میبرد. تقنین یا پارلمان جایست که اونا قوانین پاس میکنه و قوانین میسازن. این قوانین اگر به اساس معیارهای حقوق بشری، احترام متقابل، عدالت و مساوات باشه، ما نمیتونیم که به اصطلاح ما شاید از این نخواهد بودیم که نقض حقوق بشری اتفاق افتاده و مردم قانون است که مردم او را به اصطلاح قبول میکنه، بلکه هر کس در برتر قانون خود مسئول احساس میکنه. سوم که بسیار مهم است، اونا گفتم که قوه قضاییه است که اونا از قوه قضاییه در هند یادآوری کردن که بسیار نقش مهمی داره در انکشاف موضوعات حقوق بشری. خود قوه قضاییه به اصطلاح جهت میده موضوعات حقوق بشری در همه قوانین، در محاکم، در فیصله هایی که میشه. اگر قوه قضاییه خود به اصطلاح مسئول احساس بکنه، ما مسئولیت حقوق بشری را به اصطلاح داریم. در غیر از او اگر در این سه نهاد موضوعات که در رابطه با عدالت است، احترام و رعایت حقوق بشری اگر شامل نباشه، یعنی انسان ها در کمتر از مسئولیت اجتماعی مستفید خواهد بودند. قوه قضاییه، قوه اجراییه، قوه مقننه و اساس قوانین حقوق بشری باشه. و می خاطر هم است که کشورهایی که کانونسیون های حقوق بشری تعهد میکنن دیگه یک مقدار حتی تمام مواد زوره یا یک تعداد از مواد زوره جزء قوانین داخلی خود باید بسازن. و این خاطر با استفاده از روش های نو و تکنیک های نو باید تکنیک های نو حقوق بشری باید ملابس باشن. در هند ما بسیار خوب این مثال را داریم که ما به اصطلاح قناعت داریم که اونا همچون برنامه ها را همی افسینه ها در مسائل حقوق بشری او را رعایت میکنن و ما امیدوار هستیم که افغانستان هم از این سود ببرد. منظورشان از آگاهی دهی یا کار با این سه نهاد بوده که اونا در هر مورد به اصطلاح مرتبط هستند با موضوعات حقوق بشری در قوانین و در برنامه های که میسازند. این برنامه ها اگر به اساس قوانین حقوق بشری باشند، انسان ها مفاد و سود بیشتر از آنها خواهد بود و نقش حقوق بشری کمتر در جامعه خواهد بود.
Thank you. Now I come to the last and very important part of this morning's discussion is who can be a leader? Who is the person or who are the persons or institutions who can provide leadership in management of human rights, coming out with new strategies, and above all, protecting the human rights. According to me, the first attribute of a leader has to be his moral attributes. He should be morally strong, he should be truthful, and he should have the sensitivity towards human rights. Without moral attributes, knowledge of, scholarship of human rights of no use. Unless you have conviction, unless you are morally strong to say this is right, this is wrong, you have the strength like Badshah Khan to suffer for the sake of truth. You should have the strength like Mahatma Gandhi, tremendous moral stature, tremendous commitment to truth, and tremendous empathy for everyone. So a leader can achieve success in human rights sphere if he is morally strong. So the moral stature of a leader is very necessary for protecting human rights of others. Next, that all leaders, you and I, we're all included, who hold positions of power, they must know how to manage powers. You can abuse your powers for your personal gain. You can use your power for the welfare of others. So a deep understanding of your role, deep understanding of your commitment to others is very, very important. Otherwise, I have been a very senior police officer. If I wanted to abuse my power for personal gain, I could have done it. Even it is being done even now. Some people are indulging in money making. Some people are indulging in suppressing one group vis-a-vis the other. Some people are favoring a particular group of society. Some are favoring others. Some are indulging in religious fundamentalism. So this is not power management. This is abuse of power. Once you manage the power which is given to you as a trust by the people, by the constitution, you will know what is your role and how to defend others against the violation of human rights, and how not to abuse this position for personal gain. Power management in the sphere of law and management, capacity building is very, very important. Most of us in all countries misuse the power. It gets into our head and we don't follow the right path. So power management, my dear friends, you are holding positions of power in your country, just as we are doing it. So wherever you are, you must manage your power which has been entrusted to you for the welfare of others, for the benefit of others, and for the security of others. Please.
Yes. جناب پروفسور در اخیر گفتن که موضوع بسیار مهم است و او است که کی باید رهبر چه خصوصیات داشته باشه یا کی میتونه رهبر باشه در مدیریت حقوق بشری. چطور ما بتوانیم که رهبریت ایجاد بکنیم. به نظر من اول صادقترین و مخلصترین و با اخلاقترین کس میتونه که مثلا رهبر باشه که اون بتونه مثلا از دیگران حمایت بکنه و در مقابل حق زبان خود باز بکنه، یعنی در مقابل حق زبان باز بکنه ولو اگر خودش ضرر هم ببینه، ولو اگر خودش به تکلیف هم دچار شود، باید به خاطر حق برای دیگران بازگو بکنن، مثل پادشاهان و مثل جناب مهاتما گاندی که اونا مثال دارن. اینا کسانی بودن که به خاطر اعاده حقوق دیگران خود در خطر انداختن و از همه اعتراضاتی که باید می داشتن در اون وقت گذشتن تا که دیگران مسئول باشن. ایشان علاوه کردن که همه رهبران گذشته باید نقش خود در عمق بدانند که اونا چی نقش دارن. وقتی که یک آدم لیدر باید رهبر شود، اونا باید مسئولیت های اجتماعی خود درک بکنن. اگر درک بکنه، درک نکنه، به این معنا نیست که اگر او در یک رابطه، در یک موضوع، در یک مسلک سند داشته باشه، ظرفیت داشته باشه، دیپلم داشته باشه، خوانده باشه، ولی اگر در سلوک از اون تغییر وارد نشه، مثل که قبلا هم گفتیم، این پاور منیجمنت نیست. این نمیتونیم به اسلام بگیم که کسی که خصوصیات یک رهبر داشته باشه باید نقش خود بدانه، نه اینکه از نقش خود استفاده سو بکنه و یا از قدرت استفاده نامناسب بکنه. باید از قدرت برای نفع دیگران، امنیت دیگران و صلح دیگران استفاده موثر کرد.
Thank you. The next attribute of a leader should be personal incorruptibility. If you are corrupted by your own power, if you are lacking in integrity, if you are abusing your power for your sake or for the sake of a group, small group, your standards of probity are deficient, you can never lead. We are talking about leadership also in the management of human rights. Only an incorruptible leader, man of or institutions of unimpeachable incorruptibility can lead. Because incorruptibility gives you strength. Incorruptibility comes from commitment to a particular cause. If you are committed to a cause, if you have strong convictions and personally incorruptible, perhaps you are the best leader. It's a very important point for me. I leave it to the translator to translate to you before I proceed further.
جناب پروفسور صاحب گفتن چیز دیگه که از جمله مشخصات بسیار مهم یک رهبر هست این است که او عاری از فساد اداری باشد به زمانی که قدرت داشته باشد به زمانی که صاحب قدرت باشد اگر یک رهبر زمانی که قدرت دارد اگر نترسه از استیضاح و جوابگویی به خاطر پاسخگویی درست نمیتونه یک رهبر خوب باشد.
I'm coming to the last phase of this lecture next. I'll make 3-4 points. Number one, our legislature should be so alert that it should take note of arising situations in the field of human rights. The legislature must know which are the areas where human rights are being violated and why. Accordingly, they should come with new legislature, new laws, so that human rights are protected in a particular area. This human rights, this legislature should be conscious not only of what is prevailing in my country or your country, but what the human rights scenario all over the world. So some of our policies have to be nation-centric, some of them have to conform the international scenario. So the legislature should be alert to human rights situation, alive to human rights situation all over the world, and come out with new strategies, new laws, whatever name you might give, new management techniques in order to tackle those situations. Second point. If we want to strengthen our human rights regime, nothing is more important, my dear friends, than health and education. If you do not have a certain level of education, you will not be able to understand human rights values, and you will not be able to have that kind of empathy, sensitivity towards others. It is the education which builds you as a citizen. It is the education which enables you to build others. So in all your programs of law, management, capacity building, education must be given a pride of place. Third, or next, is health. It is only a healthy person, it is only a healthy individual who is able to protect himself and others. If your health is not good, generally, not of an individual, if the health of the nation, physical health of the nation is not good, if the nation is afflicted by all kinds of diseases, afflictions, and disabling things, then all this great talk about human rights, equality, freedom, etc., all these things are useless. You must enjoy good health to be a good citizen and to be a leader to help others. So your programs must focus on these two important things which have been denied to humanity in a large measure ever since. Must be you must focus on these two issues. And if your health is good, if your education is good, perhaps you may not need others. You may not need the bureaucracy, you may not need law enforcement agency, because you will be able to protect yourself. So all capacity building exercises, all management techniques must focus on health and education. Please.
جناب پروفسور صاحب گفتن که در آخر چند فاز دیگه که بسیار مهم است در رابطه با ظرفیت سازی برای شما میگم. اولی است که ما باید قوانینی که میسازیم ما باید شرایط حقوق بشری که ما در کدام جهت روان هستیم و نقض حقوق بشری در کشورها به کدام طرف است، ما باید قوانین نو طرح و دیزاین بکنیم. این قوانین باید موثق باشه و اساس پالیسی ها و موازینی که بتونه قوانین داخلی را به اصطلاح رهبری بکنه، یعنی شامل قوانین داخلی باشه، یعنی تغییرات دو بیاید و هم موازی با قوانین بین المللی باشه. با این ما میتونیم که ظرفیت سازی بکنیم در رابطه با کار بکنیم با کسایی که قوانین میسازند در سطح داخلی برای کشور خود ما، و ما باید آموزش داشته باشیم از قوانین بین المللی که او هم شامل قوانین خود بسازیم. دوم گفتم که اگر ما رژیم قوی قوانین داشته باشیم که بتانیم از حقوق بشری افراد و ظرفیت از اونها را بلند ببریم، در دو عنصر خود باید توجه بکنیم که یک عنصر صحت است و یک عنصر آموزش است، یعنی عنصر تعلیم و تربیه است. ما نمیتونیم حقوق بشری افراد بفهمیم زمانی که خود شما مثلا شما نمیتونید زمانی که آموزش نداشته باشید تعمیر بکنن هم خود و هم تعمیر بکنن حقوق بشری دیگران. به این معنا که خودتان هم نمیتونید که بیاموزند و دیگران هم نمیتونید که درست فهم و تفهیم بکنن. به این خاطر صحت شما در رابطه با مبارزه و کمپاین که شما میکنید یا مسائلی که شما به خرج میدید بسیار مهم است و حقوق اساسی را اگر بخواید که رعایت بکنید باید شما صحت خوب داشته باشید. صحت نه تنها افرادی که صحت باید افراد داشته باشند که اونا به این معنا نیست که اونا صحت روانیشان خوب باشه، بلکه هر دو هم صحت روانی و هم صحت فیزیکی از اونا قسم باشه که اونا سخن بزنن، اونا افهام و تفهیم رو درست بکنن، اونا برنامه ها را مثلا آموزش بدن و پیش ببرن. و این میتونه که در مقابل نابسامانی هایی که هست یکی از روش‌های مبارزه است که این دو عنصر بسیار مهم است، یعنی صحت و تعلیم و تربیت. منظورشان است آموزش و موضوعات مهم حقوق بشری بوده که شما او را برای کسای دیگه افهام و تفهیم میکنید یا انتقال میدید.
Thank you. Another point which is very dear to my heart, in which my friend Murthy and I collaborated with each other when we were Human Rights Commission. Among the weaker sections of society, yet there is another weak section, and that is the disabled persons. Human Rights Commission of India perhaps was one of the institutions which, out of their sympathy and empathy for disabled persons, stopped calling them disabled. We are calling them now differently abled persons, which only shows a sensitivity towards them. It's not a stigma. God has made you what you are. But to call somebody disabled, to call somebody this, to call somebody that, you are only enhancing his agony. So, attention should be paid among the weaker section of society to this weakest section of the society. Because they don't see where to go. They don't hear what you say. They don't have legs where to go to the Human Rights Commission, to go to the court, to go to the parliament, to go to bureaucrat. They are the person who need maximum attention if you want to free the society completely of human rights violation. So this section, the weakest of the weak, must receive your attention. Please.
جناب پروفسور شد یک نکته دیگر هم گفت که در دلم گشت رو هم میخوایم که اضافه کنم در میان طبقاتی که در جامعه زندگی میکنن قشر محروم دیگه هم است که اونا رو ما افراد دارای معلولیت میگیم و ما با آنها هرچند که در جامعه برنامه‌های مختلف اونا یاد میشن ولی ما باعث کسایی که خود ملبس با آموزش حقوق بشری سنبال میکنیم یا آرستن میکنیم ما برای اونا باید بگیم شما جزء از این جامعه هستین شما با ما برابر هستین به خاطر که مثلا تعداد زیاد از اونا ممکن مشکل بینایی داشته باشن مشکل شنوایی داشته باشن مشکل فیزیکی داشته باشن که اونا نتوانن راه برن و این خاطر نیاز به توجه بسیار زیاد دارن تا تفاوت وجود نشه و وجود نبره و این خاطر هم اصطلاحی که همه شمول باید باشن یا همگون با همسان با دیگران باشن تا اونا از این محرومیتی که یا مشکلی که دارن و مواجه هستن یا فیزیکی یا غیر فیزیکی به اصطلاح پی نبرن یعنی اونا مقدار مایوسیت در خود راه ندن.
Yes. Thank you. Well, as I told you in the beginning, is human rights development, human rights protection is a very vast subject, inexhaustible. It's very difficult to complete our discussions on this in one lecture or even in one day. It takes a lot of time. But still, I have tried to cover most of the salient points. The last point, but not the least, is that each country has a constitution. And that constitution is the expression of aspirations of that particular geographical entity. We have a constitution, you have a constitution. So, the safest guide in any sphere, whether you are making laws, whether you are implementing laws, or whether you are educating on the laws, commitment to the constitution is paramount. You must know your constitution, you must understand it, what it offers to the people, and what are the obligations it casts on the state machinery. If the state machinery is not conforming itself to the constitution, if they are not implementing the provisions of the constitution, they are party to the violations of human rights. So all of us, you ladies and gentlemen, I don't have to teach you, but I'm only reiterating what I'm sure you know it already, that our commitment to our constitution should be our guide. I have tried to cover as many subjects as I think or as I could recollect this morning. I have tried to emphasize the salient, the important points. But if I have missed out anything, the scholars like Mr. Murthy and the lady here, they are there to help you, tell you more. Today is the beginning only. And I'm sure you will learn a great deal from this experience. I should not be misunderstood. I'm not doing any promotional exercise. I have learned a great deal from this book, Human Rights Handbook. This has been authored by our friend Mr. Murthy. I'm sure it will be in this library. And all of you will benefit a great deal if you go through this while you are here. And it's a book for all times to come. It covers everything, national, international scenario. And if you get a chance, if you get time, do go through it. I have traveled quite a lot during my tenure as Director CBI and later as members of the National Human Rights Commission, has imbibed a lot from each country about human rights. Let's not have a pessimistic attitude. A lot is happening. The society at large in the world is getting more and more conscious about their rights. And they are asserting them. They are asserting their rights. And so should we. We should empower the people, enable the people to assert their rights, to demand their rights. And then they will be partners with you. You will not be a lone sector of section of the society to implement human rights. It will be a joint effort of everyone, the society as well as the state. So they must know their rights, they must assert their rights, and we must help each other. As I told you, I visited a large number of countries, and one country which I always wanted to visit, but so far I have not visited, but inshallah I think I will be able to visit Afghanistan also one day. I wish all the best to you during your stay, and I thank you for your patient hearing. I hope I have not disappointed you. Thank you.
جناب پروفسور سه گفتن امروز صبح ما روی موضوعات سازات بحث کردیم ولی نمیتونیم که ما عناوینی را که بحث کردیم در یک روز در یک کورس و در یک صبح او را خلاص کنیم. موضوعات بسیار جامعی سر از ما چیز مانده باشه. از خانم منورادا و از موتی صاحب هم گفتن که میتونید شما افزود کنید. در آخر یک کتاب حقوق بشری است که در او موضوعات ملی و بین‌المللی حقوق بشر است که به اصطلاح کتاب دستی است که میتونید شما از استفاده کنید زمانی که شما ریج هستید و سر میبرید و بسیار ضرور است موضوعات حقوق بشری. ولی خوشبختانه امروز تعدادی از موضوعات حقوق بشری مردم درک کردن، مدافعین حقوق بشر رو را میفهمند و از او آگاه شدن. اونا باعث همکار با موضوعات حقوق بشری بلد شدن، میتونن همکار بسیار خوبه در رابطه با کار شما با شما اونا به اصطلاح شانه بتنن و شما یک افتخار بکنن و در اخیر گفتن انشاءالله من بسیار خوش هستم از دیدن شما. انشاءالله امید زندگی خواهد بود. من به افغانستان بسیار علاقه دارم که از شما و از گوش دادن شما از موضوعاتی که شما گوش کردین انشاءالله تشکر میکنم.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We still have, I think, a few minutes left. If you want to field any questions, you are most welcome.
چند دقیقه هست میگه کنم سوال داشته باشین میتونم در خدمت شماست.
But with your permission, before I close, I just want to tell you 2-3 things. What a Human Rights Commission as a body can do. In India, as Mr. Murthy mentioned in the very beginning, the mental health, condition of mental health was very poor. Human Rights Commission took up this issue at a national level, and today we can say with a sense of satisfaction that the government, the state and the citizen are all very alive to this issue, and a lot has been done, a lot is being done. Number 2, selectively I'm telling you, there is a state in India, Odisha, where there are a group of 4 or 5 districts known as KBK districts, among the poorest in the country. Poorest from all points of view: health, education, road communication, everything, employment. Human Rights Commission focused on this area for a number of years. And today, as a result of the efforts made by National Human Rights Commission, in that area, there are health facilities, there are education facilities, their road communications are better, education is better, and it is on road to betterment. I will not say prosperity, it is on road to betterment. Third issue, the last issue. You see, in India, the large number of factories, mining, everything is there. Nobody ever bothered about the labor class. The National Human Rights Commission took up the cause of only one sector of the labor class, and those people who are working in mines and suffering
the general situation of Afghanistan and how human rights fits into that pattern. Introduction. Secondly, the expectations of national institutions for human rights, such as the Afghan Independent Commission, Independent Human Rights Commission. And third, the special challenges that your commission faces that most other national institutions for human rights do not face.
جناب ایشان فرمودن که امروز ما در مورد وضعیت حقوق بشری در افغانستان صحبت میکنم. البته مقدار که صحبت‌های من در مورد وضعیت حقوق بشری در افغانستان است که روی 3 نکته متمرکز است. یکی از روی است که وضعیت حقوق بشری افغانستان در کدام حالت است و یک تصویر کلی بر این وضعیت بپردازیم. نکته دومی است که چالش میپذیره و نهادهای دیگه مدنی مثلا یا چالش ها و مشکلاتی که روبروی به مقابل کمیسیون شما وجود داره و به مقابل نهادهای دیگه مدنی وجود نداره، اون چالش ها را روش بحث میکنه.
My core message is that your commission straddles two worlds, has its foot in two worlds. You are part of an effort to establishing a function